There is a persistent sensation of being a discrete entity located just behind your eyes. We experience ourselves as a permanent passenger, piloting the physical machinery of the body through a world that exists separately from us. René Descartes and other 17th century thinkers formalized this intuition into the doctrine of dualism. They argued that the mind and the physical body were distinct substances, effectively categorizing the self as an independent soul residing within a biological machine. Modern cognitive science, however, finds no central hub for this passenger. Instead, brain scans reveal the default mode network, a decentralized collection of regions, including the medial prefrontal and posterior cingulate cortex. These nodes fire in a self-referential pattern, creating a sense of me through distributed activity. This decentralized reality leads to a perspective called neuronihilism. When the self is viewed as a byproduct of network noise, our experiences of stress, pain, and grief can appear to be inescapable consequences of a biological program we don't actually control. This creates a difficult tension. If the self is a fluid process of the brain, the weight of our daily suffering should, in theory, be as transparent as any other illusion. Yet the pressure of anxiety or the sting of loss remains a concrete part of our lives. Buddhist philosophy describes this tension through the doctrine of Pratītyasamutpāda, or dependent origination. This 2,500-year-old framework maps the same decentralized causality currently being studied in cognitive laboratories. This doctrine suggests that suffering arises through a specific mechanical sequence of events. By isolating the individual links in that sequence, it becomes possible to influence the outcome of the entire chain. The core principle of dependent origination is that no phenomenon exists on its own. Every event, whether a thought or a physical object, emerges temporarily based on the intersection of specific causes and conditions. Early Buddhist texts illustrate this using the example of a lit oil lamp. The flame is a continuous event sustained by the oil, the wick, and the air. When these specific conditions interact, the flame arises. But the moment they are removed, the event completely ceases. This ancient observation of interdependence mirrors the modern cognitive science framework of enactivism. Enactivism describes the mind as a biological system continuously looping with its environment. In this model, the organism and its world mutually shape one another to create a domain of significance. Perception is an active exploration that enacts a sense of reality. We experience ourselves as a dynamic process co-created with our surroundings, rather than a fixed observer sitting apart from the world. The Buddhist map of this process is the 12 links of dependent origination, tracking how a single experience transforms into mental distress. The cycle begins when physical senses meet the environment. This intersection creates contact, the moment raw data enters. Contact generates a feeling, a basic neurological tone. This isn't a complex emotion, but a simple signal, indicating if an experience is pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. The default mode network evaluates this tone against our past experiences. A pleasant tone triggers an immediate craving to maintain it, while an unpleasant tone triggers a sharp aversion, an automatic push to make the feeling stop. We often mistake this rapid, automatic escalation for a permanent part of our identity. We assume the craving is us, binding our sense of self to the rise and fall of neurological data. Because this process is conditioned, changing the input at any stage changes the result. This reveals a way to influence the momentum of our reactions. This is the mechanism behind vipassana, or insight meditation. It functions as a method for observing the causal links of the mind as they occur in real time. There's a microsecond interval between a feeling and its escalation into craving. By stabilizing attention, we expand awareness of this moment. Within this gap, we observe unpleasant feelings simply as data. This non-reaction stops the automatic trigger, allowing the reaction to dissolve. Understanding the self as a dependently originated process provides a practical path to change. When we see how each moment is co-created through specific conditions, we find the ability to influence those conditions, one moment at a time.